Hello and welcome to Colleague 7 Sprint Review for 18.06.01. This will cover the work undertaken between the 29th of May to the 11th of June. So to begin with the sprint goal, and for this sprint our primary goal has been to apply further Redis cache updates to ensure optimal performance and to deliver the progress text feature for bulk email sends and GDPR link generation. Looking at the high-level items and to explain further, in this sprint, we've been able to make further Redis cache performance improvements to ensure optimal speed when using the system. Any work in this area is with a view to allowing the system to run smoother or faster, and you can expect further updates of this nature over the coming weeks. As per the sprint goal, we've now implemented the progress text for the bulk email sending and GDPR link generation. This is following on from the work delivered in the previous sprint, and as a whole, this workflow should process things a lot better moving forwards. We've been investigating the control shift options in the search results area to help with multiple record selection, similar to how you would select rows of records on a Windows application. This went well when we now have a proof of concept which we'll be putting in place during the course of the next sprint. We've been updating the document link notifications so that it also creates a history record when you're against a contact record. This way you can look back and track which contacts have opened documents, and also in time this will be something we'll look to report on as well. Some filtering options have been added to the templates area in admin. When parsing a CV, we've moved the fields previously held on the other tab to be on the summary. This work has also included adding the previous job titles field to the summary to the experience tab and the candidate's preferred job title to the personal tab. As part of another security update, we've made the Office 365 login process a mandatory step when logging into Colleague. I can appreciate for most that it will already appear to be doing this, but there has been a way to bypass it, which we've now resolved. There have also been some other updates, which include this session attempting to automatically reconnect to your Office 365 account if it drops, and also remember where you are if you lose connection and need to log back in. And as a final point, we've updated the Reports To field on the contact record to be a selection lookup option rather than a drop down, so it's more user friendly. We'll now go through a brief demonstration on the key features from this sprint. Okay, so there are only a few things really to cover as part of this sprint review. This was one of those sprints where a lot of the work that went on was very much in the background, relating to the actual framework of 7 as opposed to the actual UI itself receiving either new functionality or updates. But we did do some elements which I'll cover in this review. If I firstly touch on the progress text that's been added. So bulk sending from 7 has been there for a while, but what's been apparent from the feedback we received is that some clients have found that process slow. They've experienced timeouts to bulk sending, and also the progress of how a send is going is unclear to the user. So what we wanted to do on two fronts really was to ensure that a user was aware that the process was working in terms of the mails going out the door and how far along in that process it was going, and also the same on the generation of the GDPR links, because that, depending on the size of the search result and the number of records that you're trying to contact, that can also take a while to process and go through. So just to demonstrate that, if I highlight all these records, we'll go to create an email. Obviously the email form comes through. If we start by just requesting the GDPR consent, so this is doing it for all the records, what you'll see there is it was just that message came up just advising that it's generating the link, and obviously the link is then as part of the form and as part of the email that you're going to be sending out. Also on the sending front, we've got a similar sort of message. So if we now send this email, obviously this is a test email, please ignore, and we hit send on that, what you'll see is that we get a notification basically advising us on the progress of the send. And then it finishes. So it's just an overview on how things are going, And yeah, obviously we'll optimize performance and speed to get things better over time. But that's just a better way of working in terms of being informed on the progress of bulk sending. And that's the update we've made there. The next point to cover just relates to the CV parser in terms of the removal of the other tab and moving those fields on the other tab onto the summary tab, and also the additional fields that we've added to the candidate record. So just as an example, we're just looking at a CV I've just parsed there. What used to be the case is that we'd have an other tab included it up here that would contain the fields that we've now moved into the summary tab as an overview. So the candidate status, the type, the source. We've also got these two fields as well, preferred job title and previous job titles. These fields were there, but they weren't actually visibly shown actually on the candidate record. So first and foremost, against the CV parser, the other tab is gone, and now we've got a more concise list of tabs that actually relate to the information that's being pulled across. But also actually from within a candidate record, you'll notice now that there is a preferred job title, which will contain obviously the job title that the CV parser has recognised as being the preference of that candidate. And on the experience tab, you'll see the previous job titles there just listed out. And again, that's off the basis of what's been parsed here against preferred job title and previous job titles held within there. So that's the update we've made there. The final point to cover just relates to the reports to field on the contact record. So this is the field that you would use to advise who this contact actually reports to, who's their line manager essentially within the business, and then obviously the organization chart will then update to reflect that choice. So this reports to field used to previously be just a drop down list with containing all of the contacts within the company. For instances where a company has a large number of contacts, I appreciate that was difficult to work with, so this has been updated to be a partial view. So on this field you'll have a magnifying glass, you can click on that, it opens up the partial view lookup of a contact specifically against that company record. You can then select a contact, hit select, and obviously that then appears. That's obviously a link to the contact record, and also if we look at the associated organization chart, obviously that's going to update to reflect the choice that you've made there with regards to the reporting contact. So that's the update that we made there in the sprint. As always, if you have any queries or feedback, please get in touch. I'll be keen to hear from you. Also, for those using Colleague 7, feel free to submit your enhancement requests via the support team or directly to me using the above email address. The next video will be the sprint plan for 18.06.02, and as always that will contain a high-level overview on the items we intend to work on during that sprint. Thanks for watching.